Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Starseed Tarot. I hope everyone's having a good day. I know I am. I'm just hanging out at No Frills. Got yellow on the board there, yellow bags here with my groceries in them. So just wanted to say a quick hello to everyone. And I guess we can talk a bit more about the concept of ego, I guess. Right? Now, what I think is that ego operates in many different ways, right? And as we were talking about before, it can work for our benefit or it could work to our detriment. Now, one way in which our ego can work to our detriment is through failure to reflect, right? So take, for example, people who feel the need to sincerely and openly present themselves at all times as being perfect. I actually think the concept of perfection itself is a form of egoism, because there isn't a single person on this planet who's perfect. You know, we've all got one or the other flaw, and that's not negative or positive. It's just that humans are fallible, right? So it's just the reality, right? And ego can even present itself through failure to see people correctly, right? Like we were discussing previously, instead of seeing as someone as being self-confident, we can see them as arrogant. Instead of seeing someone as outspoken, we see them as being abrasive. Instead of seeing someone as a happy person, for instance, we see them as ignorant, right? So those are manifestations of ego as well, when we see people the way we want to see them rather than as they actually are. So that was just a quick little note that I wanted to make about ego. And one of the ways in which it can work is by twisting people's perceptions, okay? And ego can even work itself through our word choice, right? Like, let's say, like with the topic of perfectionism, right? Like, while we're talking about perfectionism, maybe we feel this need to always come across as perfect, always come across as polished, always come across as put together, right? That's a form of egoism, because you're trying to preserve your sense of self in front of an audience or in front of a community or in front of other people. But part of breaking the ego, and this shouldn't be taken too far, right? It shouldn't be taken to an extreme where you're trying to break every single social taboo there is and you have absolutely no concern whatsoever for how society views you. Because think about it, right? There are instances where people's perceptions do matter. Like, take, for example, the workplace. If people consider you to be, for instance, an alcoholic, you don't want that type of perception in the workplace, right? So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on that briefly here. And I'll be back to expand on some of these topics.